Prometheus is one of the most unique films in the Alien franchise, but the original script would have meant the movie was a lot more connected to other entries. While Ridley Scott made huge waves for his incredible Alien film in 1979, the director was largely detached from the franchise for decades after its release. Meanwhile, other acclaimed directors such as James Cameron and David Fincher continued the legacy with new entries that further expanded on the lore of the Alien universe, and continued to explore the terrifying xenomorphs. When Scott eventually returned to the franchise in 2012, there were incredibly high expectations for Prometheus. However, fans of the franchise were confused by the overwhelming lack of xenomorphs, the trademark aliens at the center of the Alien movies. Instead, a greater focus was given to the engineers, which helped to clear up why the movie dropped the classic title in favor of a seemingly unrelated one. However, the original plan for this film was very different. Prometheus would have been a more cohesive movie if the obvious connections to Alien weren't cut. Prometheus had a major link with Alien in the first draft. Initially, Prometheus was titled Alien, Engineers, which hints at the story having a more broad focus that would cover both the xenomorphs and the engineers. In an early draft of the script, the film had a much more comprehensive story that connected the xenomorphs with these ancient mysterious beings, and included many of the other familiar creatures from throughout the franchise's history. From chestbursters to facehuggers and beyond, the movie would have included many more familiar staples of the franchise. However, in later rewrites, many of the scenes featuring the aliens were cut. This impacted the story's overall fluidity, as it meant some moments lacked proper context to have sufficient weight. While it clearly streamlined the movie, and shifted the focus to David, the android who betrays the humans, and the engineers, even these elements felt somewhat diluted and like an odd addition to a franchise that already had so much world building and lore attached to it. While the original story was likely not entirely viable, because the sheer volume of storytelling may have pushed the movie's runtime well beyond reasonable limitations, the cuts that were made feel aggressive. Rather than simply taking strong elements of the original script and rewriting them, it appears more like the finished story was cut down, which left gaps in the story, and led to many confusing details. This can also be seen thanks to the number of pivotal deleted scenes in Prometheus that have since been released, which add considerably more context to the film. The final version of Prometheus would have worked better as a standalone movie. Prometheus could have started a spin-off franchise. Instead, the movie was released as a highly edited finished product that led to many fans having intense and divided opinions on the story. Despite being a prequel, the movie felt too different to the other entries, and it's only in the years since it was released, with many more entries building on that lore, that it has become more widely accepted. But, this confusion and frustration could have been avoided if there had been a simple change made to the film.